Hello, everybody. Final Rich here. Final Find 93. Cheers. I got a few albums here, 3 7-inches. I picked up most of these at a couple of record stores, with the exception of this one here. It's Crippled Youth 7-inch. Get into it with Jason Hook. I'm your host, Jason Hook. Showed this, Crippled Youth. I wasn't really familiar with Crippled Youth. This is the band that turned into Bold, the New York hardcore band from the late 80s. I don't have any Bold albums. I do have them on either 1 or 2 comps. But this was recorded in 85 and 86 when they were like 15 years old. It's a pretty basic straight edge, walk tall, walk straight, positive scene, that kind of stuff. Can't you see where I paint the X on my hand? I'm not gonna get into my opinions on straight edge. If it works for you, that's cool. But yeah, really cool 7-inch on Revelation Records, Revelation 172, and I think it's on red. Yeah, it's on red vinyl. It's got these custom labels. It's, I think, 6 songs. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 8. 8 songs. Run about a minute each. It's cool to have. It's not what I would consider essential, but I'm really glad I have it. It's actually pretty cool. And what even makes it cooler is that, you're talking about 15-year-old kids. Coke with real sugar. It tastes better, dude. And it comes with this 28-page booklet, which is absolutely insanely cool. I mean, it's got a lot of pictures, a lot of text. I mean, this is really well done. Yeah, I'm really impressed with this 7-inch. The next 7-inch I'm going to show is God Save the Queen, backed with Did You Know Wrong by the Sex Pistols. I'm not sure if this is their first single, but it's came out in 77, so it's got to be one of them. And I'll show the label. I have it in this separate. And that's what it looks like. I know you won't be able to read this part. It's on Virgin. But yeah. Very cool single. I think I have one other Sex Pistols single. I really don't see a need for it. I have their albums. And this is the third and last 7-inch I picked up. It's The Insane from the UK. I'm not exactly sure where. The first song, El Salvador, is fantastic. It's kind of in the vein of The Exploited. Side 2, they do Chinese Rocks, the famous song, and then another Nuclear Wars, the second song on side 2, which is another song similar to like an Exploited Oi. And it's on No Future, Insane. Very cool. 3 cool singles. These next 2 albums are in a different vein. First one here is the first album by the Human League, Reproduction. This came out in 1979. I guess in 78 they started, doing their first concerts and around London and whatnot. And I guess John Lydon noticed them or heard them, and he called them trendy hippies. David Bowie happened to see them in a club in '78, and he stated he just saw the future of music. Um, it's electronic synth pop with hints of industrial. I mean, I really dig this album. When it first starts, though, almost medieval. When it first starts out with the synthesizer, you're thinking, oh boy, it's going to be one of these wimpy dimpy ones. I've talked about Depeche Mode before. Some of their early albums, they have great songs, but they're pretty wimpy sounding to me. I really get into Depeche Mode from Black Celebration on. But this is to me, this is better than the early Depeche Modes, and it came out before. They were pioneers of that synth pop sound. I guess Gary Newman beat him to the punch with his I Sing Body Electric or whatever that. But yeah, really good album. I mean, I dig Dare, their big hit. I think that was actually their third album. I like that stuff. So. And it's on Virgin Records. Very plain label. Now this next album, I think came out in 85, maybe 84, 84. This is Flesh for Lulu. This is their first full-length album. I think it's their second release, and it's self-titled. I don't believe it. Yeah, it's just self-titled. This is like a mix of T-Rex, Bowie, goth, New York Dolls, the Stones, and punk, all mixed together. Really fantastic shit. Bobby Gass, I think he showed what was it, Love and Rockets record, and I made the comment to him, hey, I like Love and Rockets, and he was a little surprised that I would like that. And it's kind of, for the popular type stuff, it's kind of my favorite stuff from the 80s. Flesh for Lulu, I don't have any of their albums. I do have 2 of their 12 inches. Came out later, Siamese Twist, and something for postcards. But anyways, this is really cool. The first song on side 1 is Restless, and I think it's probably the weakest song on the album, and it's not a bad song, but it would have been better if they would have started the side off with Dog, 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 in my opinion. But, you know, what can I say? This is the insert. And here's got some pictures. More pictures of the band. And it's on Polydor, Flesh for Lulu. And I know a lot of people, they think MP3s ruined the music industry. Downloads. I think the business aspect, where it became more of a business, they didn't even have music types running. They don't even have music types running the labels anymore. I think that had a big part in it. But apparently it's home taping is killing the music industry. Learn something. This next album, Lou Reed, Growing Up in Public. If I see a Lou Reed album from the 70s, I'll pick it up. I actually want to get all of his stuff from the 70s. This came out in 1980, so I thought it would be pretty good. It's actually horrible. It's a piece of crap. And it's a cutout, as you can see right here. Check this out. I don't know. It's like, check that out. I mean, can you see that? I mean, if I understand, you know, the cutout. It's going in the bargain bins. But man, you don't have to do it with a butcher knife, do you? But getting back to the album, I don't like this album at all. He did make Blue Mask after this, which I think is a good album. Legendary Hearts, I think it is a good album. So I thought this would be good, but it's a turd. And I don't know why I'm going to show it. Arista laid a turd. Well, actually, Lou Reed did, but... Next one, 1973 album by Grateful Dead. This is actually the first Grateful Dead album I ever bought when it came out. I had American Beauty before this, and I had Working Man Dead, but I didn't buy those back in the 60s when they came out. I bought them in the early 70s, and I bought this album, and I remember very distinctly putting it on, and side one comes on, Mississippi Half Step, Uptown, Toodaloo. I thought, oh yeah, this is pretty cool. Then the next song comes on, Let Me Sing Your Blues Away. It's got saxophone in it. Now, I did not like that. Here's the Grateful Dead. Road Jimmy, that's a cool song. Side 2 though, man, darn near perfect. Here Comes Sunshine, fantastic. Eyes of the World, another fantastic song. Weather Report, sweet. It's not as good as the first two songs, but it's not bad. And it also has some sax at the end, but it doesn't bother me as much as that other. But yeah, good album. I mean, a lot of people complain or they don't really like the Grateful Dead studio albums. I think they're rather good myself, up to a point. Now these next two albums are the two favorites of mine out of all these albums. And the first one I'm going to show is Generation X. This is their first album, self-titled. Came out in 78, I believe. Fantastic. Right here is a very young Billy Idol. This album is a delight. I mean, it's just, for anybody that likes the late 70s punk scene, the early punk scene, this is an essential album. It's just got some great songs on it. 100 Punks, it's almost anthem-like, you know. It's Ready, Steady, Go. He references the Beatles, I believe, the Rolling Stones, and Bob Dylan. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. And here's Tony James. He went on to Sig Sputnik, and I'm not sure what else. But yeah, this is fantastic. This is a UK version. And again, home taping is killing the music industry. And it's on Chrysalis Records. Fantastic. 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 And last but not least, I finally got me a copy of the Dead Boys, Loud, Snotty, and whatever. Young, Loud, and Snotty. It's got this sticker on there, which it seems like half of the copies I see now always have this sticker on. This is a fantastic album too. I didn't buy it when it came out, and it's because of a review I read, of all things, which is stupid, because most critics didn't like punk anyway, so I don't know why. I did the same thing with the Exploited. I bought their first album when it came out, or a little bit after it came out. I thought it had some great songs, but I didn't think it was a great album. I read a review of the second album when it came out, and it didn't get a good review, so I never bought it. And then I heard it at somebody's house, Scott's house, I believe. And I go, man, this sounds great. It's one side is studio, side 2 is live. And then that's when I decided, you can't rely on a stupid critic when it comes to punk. But yeah, this is fantastic. Sonic Reducer. There's a song on here. It sounds so much like a G.G. Allin song. Or I guess G.G. Allin sounds like this. But yeah, fantastic. Finally got a good copy in great shape that isn't didn't cost an arm and a leg, you know. Anyways, that's it. Take care, everybody. I've been listening to, and I meant to bring the 2 CDs in. I've been listening to 2 Black Sabbath CDs probably the last couple of weeks, and that's all I've been listening to in the car. It's the Dio ones, Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules. I had never heard Dio's Black Sabbath. And a guy at my work, he said, yeah, that was, I guess he was in high school or just beginning high school when those albums came out. And he had never really heard the Ozzy Black Sabbath until years later, he said. And we were talking about it, and I go, that's weird. You know, I've never heard the Dio one. So one day he brought the 2 CDs in and goes, here, give them a listen, Pat. Take as long as you want. And that's what I've been listening to. Now, I must say, I put the Heaven and Hell one in first because it came out first. And I wasn't that impressed. And I ended up putting it back in the glove compartment. And I forgot all about them for a couple of weeks. And then my wife was going through the glove compartment. She goes, what are these? And then oh, okay. So then I listened to it again. To me, on that album, a lot of the songs kind of the same. The vocals, I mean, first off, Dio is a great singer. But man, the words are stupid, mostly. And it's like, it's all, the way I don't know, the melody of the vocals are kind of the same in every song. It seems like. I don't have the CDs right here in front of me, so I don't remember the names of the songs. But long story short, I like Mob Rules better. I'm new to both of these albums, but I really dig Mob Rules. That first song when it starts out, it's like, I thought they were doing a Ramones cover. It's like, what is this, Being on the Brat or something? And anybody that says punk rock didn't influence heavy metal, you're out of your head. But there's a couple of songs that kind of sound like old Sabbath, but for the most part, it sounds like 2 different bands. And that's the one thing I noticed, especially when I was playing the first one for the first time. I go, this sounds more like a Judas Priest, the 80s Judas Priest than it does Black Sabbath. And it's like it's 2 different bands. I mean, put it this way, I can't imagine Ozzy singing most of these songs, to be honest with you. I dig them though, and probably if I ever see Mob Rules a good price on vinyl, I'll pick it up. Take care, guys and gals. Hopefully the Dodgers can win a game, man.